and welcome back to Dukascopy TV. I'm Monica Gibson and today I'm joined in the studio by Francis van den Bosch. Francis, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Now, you've got a vast experience in the banking sector. You've basically, revolutionised the Maestro Foundation, and also you have helped implement strategy for separate banks. Can you tell me what are the main changes that are affecting banks at present?
Well, the main change in the Eurozone sector is that, first of all, it's not likely in the next 5 years the Eurozone will have a really growing economy. All the economic reports I read indicate that if growth will be low, it's more difficult to operate a bank in a non-growth economy than in a growth economy. Mm-hmm. Secondly, there are the capital requirements and all sorts of controls imposed by the famous Basel III, which banks know very well, so they will most likely reduce their balance sheets. A non-growth economy means it's going to get harder to attract customers because you don't have the automatic growth of the market, so you have to fight for customers. Many banks may have to rethink their marketing model as to how they attract and keep customers for the longer term, become more customer-centric. I think those two are the main point.
Now, you mentioned challenges there, but are there any growth opportunities, do you think?
If a bank does a better job for its customers than the next bank or other banks, then it could take away business from that other banks. Even if you are in a stagnant market, there always is a growth opportunity for the better operator. That can attract more customers. That's why I mentioned customer centricity as a notion. How do you do a better job to handle a customer than the next bank?
So are banks ready to address these opportunities, do you think?
I know banks that are really looking into those issues and coming up with answers. An example of a bank, the Belgian bank by the way, that has defined that its prime target group is the households that live in the biggest cities, younger households, 25 to 40. That need a mortgage, that both have a job, and they're building a bank that is specifically constructed, let's say, to service the needs of that target group in the best possible way, with special products for that group of people. In a way that is nothing else than what retailers have done many, many years ago. Instead of aiming at everybody, because then you're all things to all people and that doesn't work, pick out a particular target segment and come up with the best proposition of the market for that group.
Okay, that's interesting. And with regards to human resources, how do these things affect that sort of situation?
Well, if you build a proposition for a particular target group, your staff has to play the game, most obviously. What is that proposition to whom? And people have to be trained or retrained to deliver that proposition. So to some banks the challenge might be new, but in essence it's been done before.
Okay. And so people that are implementing, the staff that are doing these skills, what sort of profile or talents do they have, do you think, to adapt to these changes?
A much more service profile than, and far less of a bank technical profile than is the case so far. I know of one bank as an example that has gone to the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Group to train its branch people. Obviously not for bank technical training, but for training on how do I deal with wealthy customers.
That's very interesting.
That's an example, there are many others.
Now, you're an advisor for the University of Business and International Studies in Geneva. How can this university help this situation, do you think?
By applying what I was just trying to say, talk to the bank to figure out what its strategy or its strategies, because many banks have retail, have B2B, have corporate banking, have government banking. What are the strategies for each? What is the desired behavior of the people to support that strategy? What is the current behavior? Where is the gap and how do we address that? And university can play an advisory role and an implementing role to teach the people or to get those people to those new skills and therefore new behavior.
Well, Francis, thank you very much for your time and for your insights today. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you.
Now that's all we've got time for at the moment, but later I'll be looking at the link between philanthropy and finance, so please do stay tuned for that. Bye for now.